Hello and welcome to this video. And if you missed the first video on how we actually did this, we wired 3 lights with 3 switches, all one way. Because this is now the next video on how we're going to add an intermediate switch and a two-way switch. Just like we've got here, so we turn the lights off. That one is that switch. That one is into a two-way. That one's your intermediate. So all these switches do that one light. And this one is your two-way switch. And this one just stayed as one way. So how do we wire it? We're about to find out. So then we're going to add another 2-gang switch in here with another 1-gang switch, which will be your intermediate. So let's see how we're going to wire this. So what we're going to do now is make number 1 light 2-wayed here, number 2 like 2-wayed in with this, but then number 1 also wants to be switched with this, which is an intermediate switch. So what I want to do first is fix these sockets in position, which knock these out once again. There we go. Knock them out. Get that in there. So let's keep all the earth terminals to the top. But then we want one cable out of here to come into here for the two-way, and then another cable to come out of here for the intermediate, and then out of there in for the two-way. So let's knock the bottoms out. Of course, we'll route them around that way. So we're going to have 2 cables coming out of here and 2 cables coming out of that. So let's knock these this way. There and there. That one, that one. Should be enough to get your cable in. That one, that one. They're quite delicate, so you've got to be a bit careful sometimes. Should be enough to get your cables in. Get rid of that. Right, so then we want to fix these. Get some screws, just fix these down. Trying to keep them nice and straight. A couple of screws in there to fix them in position. And this one too. So we'll fix this also in position. There we go, and that screw fell out of there. Let's get that. Into there. And then what we'll do is take this switch off, because this is where the cables have got to come from, because we haven't got to go into the lights again. It's just the switching what we're changing. So there we go. Let's take that off of there, because we'll change all that as well. We might have to change that earth, because we're going to have a lot more earths inside here. And obviously what we want is 2 more out of here. Now this is basically fixed to the ground now. So what we'll do is knock it out. There we go. We got that out there neatish. So this is where we want, let's get this off. This is where you want 3-core cable. And some 2.5 clips, because they'll fit this perfect. So then first things first, we're going to put the 2-way in. So this will be your 2-way for this. There we go. So just for another light to be 2-way, you want a 3-core out of the original switch to go to another switch. You can't just run a 2-core, you've got to have a 3-core. So let's run that in there, into that switch. And we'll try and keep these nice and neat once again. I like to try and keep all the switches that will look a bit neat on it. So let's get that in the other hole, because we've gone into there. Try not to cross them over, look crap. There we go. This one in here, and then we want another 3-core once again for the 2-way and the intermediate. So this is just going to be your 2-way for this one. We could basically do it to that one even if we wanted to, because it's in the same switch, but we're going to do it to this one's going to be the 2-way, this one's going to be sort of a 3-way in effect. So we want to come out of there, go to our intermediate switch, which will be this end, down here, try to form it nice and neat as you do. There we go. Put a clip in there. And a clip in that end as well. There we go, in there. And for this one, I'm going to put one in the center as well, just stop it moving around. And then from the intermediate switch, we want to go back into here, because this is going to be the 2-way. So we go into there, into there. Tight, these bends in, and you think in a property you'll have plenty of room in like the joists and stuff like that, but on a bench it's a bit difficult. Just put a clip in there to hold it in place. Go, put another clip in there, hold it in place. Should have done that clip the other way around, but doesn't matter too much. So then you've got it wired. So obviously we want to strip these cables to start with, but as you can see here, it will be quite simple because you can see where the cables go. But they're like light 1, light 2, light 3. So then this is going to be your light 3, so L3, 1, 2, 3 dots in there, and that is going to be your light 2, so light 2, 1, 2. So we know this one is your light 2, 1, 2, and this is going to be your light 3 again. This one is your intermediate switch, so it's quite self-explanatory, I think, in a way. But then that'll all be for that light as well. It's not L3, it's L1, isn't it? So that's light 1. Like, sorry, let's change the 3 to a 1. So this is light 1, light 1. See what this 1 dot in there, 1 dot in there. Mistakes happen. See, that'll confuse you. So now let's strip them so we can terminate them. Try to get as much as you can back in that switch, because it's going to be tight in here now with a few more cables. And again, make sure that you've got all your cores out before you cut it, because it has happened. It's probably happened to a few sparkers where you just miss one core and you think, damn, I've chopped it off. So either you've got to join it or run another cable in. It's a bit of a nightmare sometimes. So there we go, just stripping all these back, all of your switches. It just makes it easier. Once you've got your cutters in your hand, you might as well strip them all, and then you know what you're doing. Oh, I thought that box snapped a little bit then, but it weren't, it was just the hole where it come through. See, sometimes if you can cut it off, then you find out that there's a core inside, and you think, damn. But it only happens once, because if you're pulling a cable in and you do it once, you think, oh, that is a nightmare, I'm not doing that again. So you make sure, even check inside like that, there's no more cables, you've got them all 3, or you can just count them, can't you? You've got all 3 in there, that one. So then terminate this as well. This is going to be intermediate, of course. I'll go in here. And this is the last one. Where's that earth? There it is. There we go. Get that out. Then once again, you want to terminate the earths first, because they're at the back of the box and they're just easier to get to now. It's quite simple. If you've got neutrals in there as well, it'd be good to do the neutral second, but because we're doing the earth first, we want a decent bit on them, so we're going to have a few of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not critical, they're all exactly the same length, but similar, close is good. It could be nice and neat. I won't be to the millimetre, it doesn't matter. As long as they're in there, you've got plenty on them. There we go. I did 5, didn't I? So obviously want one more for that one, because then they're just enough to go into that top terminal. So let's knock this off. That one will go to that top terminal too. These ones we're going to have to sort some out, because they're not all going to go in there basically. So we'll leave this one till last. But in here as well, these cores will also be live, so they need to be identified as live. So once again, this is where you get your brown sleeving. So you want 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. No way. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. And you put these on the grey and the black cores because they're going to be your switch lives as well for... Damage that one a bit. That one would have gone perfect. We'll sort that out. These are going to be live switching, so you've got to be identified as live as well. I don't know why they don't do... Well, I suppose it's easy to terminate why they don't do all brown 3-core. It makes it easier. So then there we go. You can get twin brown cable. That one's knackered a bit, so we'll get rid of that. Get that on there. Oh, that one's knackered a bit, so just chop it off. This is why you leave plenty on, so you can use it to terminate. It makes it easier if you've got plenty inside that switch, especially for a later date. Imagine when you do this in a house, it is quite satisfying as well when it all works properly. You think spot on, it all switches, it all does what it's meant to do, and you've done the right job. But basically, if you get the wires in the right places, then it'll be a matter of just getting them in the right terminals, basically. So let's connect these earths inside the boxes, because then the earths are not used, sort of thing, in effect, but they're used on the cable. Say, I don't know, a rat chews through the cable or anything happens to the cable when it's in the joist, then yes, the earth will be used to protect the circuit. It will knock the fuse off. So this is why the earth's in there. So you've got to have continuity of all the earths on all the cables to make sure they're safe. There we go. Your earths are connected. So then now, let's do this intermediate switch. Again, bend it off to your top of your socket, chop it off. Right, with the intermediate switch, I've got plenty on it again. We are going to put these two, which will be in effect the strappers, into the switch, but the brown, sorry, which is common, is just continuous all the way through. And what we're going to do with that is just put that live inside of a Wago. There we go, because that will just stay as common. So then we'll just get that nice and neat in there. There's not needed anything else, so that's just your live in there. And then these ones though, we'll need to double over to go into the switch. Thing is, when you double them over, you see what I mean? That's what made me think of that, because I thought that was scored a little bit. You can tell whether you've got it too much and it snaps off, because that's the last thing you want, to put your switch all together and you think, oh, it ain't working. So then when you're doubling them over, it's sort of a little test as well to see if the copper has got it spot on. There we go. So then in your intermediate switch, you'll basically want to go through this switch. Your black will go into L1. And then your grey can go into L2. And then with the other cable we've got as well, your grey into L2. And your black into L1. There we go. And look, you've got plenty of space in there as well to form it in nice and neat. So that will be your intermediate switch. So then now, if we remember, this one was your light 1, this one is your light 2. So again, I'm just going to chop them back. All of these will be in their own terminal with one cable. So once again, we'll bend them over to get a better connection. There we go, knock them over. And then, like I say, you can see if that copper's damaged. They twist like a twit, look there. Make them nice and neat. The neater you get them now, the easier they go into the switch. There we go. Oh, I clicked a bit. There we go. So then on the two-way switch, what we've got, this is going to be sort of the end. So we want number 1 light to be this side. So when the switch is on, we want it to be this one. So, because it does matter, I've been in people's houses before where they want certain lights in a certain order. So the brown will go into common, and then L1 is the same as that intermediate, will go into black. Black will go into L1, sorry. And then L2 will go into the grey. And then for the other switch, which will be this side, we'll do exactly the same. The black will go into L1. And the grey will go into L2. And the brown, once again, is common, so it goes into the top. And then, because there's plenty of slack on them, we wanted this one to be this side, right? So we can form them in there, nice and neat, and it'll go in there beautifully. Now to connect the rest of the cables up. So, first things first, let's sort these earths out. So the earth, or CPC, or whatever you want to call it, really wants to be in that terminal with the rest of the earths. Wants to be in that terminal with the rest of the earths. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a bit of this cable to go in with the earths already in there, so we don't have to disrupt them. Is the plan, because you'll get one more in there. I flipping think you might not. Oh yeah, that's in there. Because you wouldn't have got two in there, it'd be too much of a squeeze. So then we want a bit of sleeving. on there. And then to connect the earth to that, our favourite things, oh, didn't get on there, is a Wago. Once again, push it on, give it a tug test, push it in, give it a tug test. So then that continues your earth. You want to see them come through the top of that, really. That'd be nice. So then, once they're in there, try to get them formed nice and neat inside the switch, because the less room you have, the harder it is to get the switch back together. So that's in there. Right. Well, these are going to go, that number 3 switch we're not got to worry about, but the other two we have. So let's disconnect 1 and 2. And this is where we doubled them over as well, look. Now, so it's tough to get them out when they're doubled over sometimes. There we go. So that number 3 switch we're going to leave. So now we don't want them doubled over, because we're going to put 2 into here. So we're going to want to knock this off so they can fit 2 cables into 1 terminal. But this is why you leave them long, so you've got plenty on them as well to be able to do this. So let's terminate these off as well. Oh, it's not enough on that one, really. There we go. There we go. Right. So then this one was the second light and this one was the first. So we'll concentrate on the first to start with. So on the first one, from the 3 core, we want that to be, didn't it? That one on the 3 core, it can be doubled over, because that is going to be on its own in the switch. So we put this on its own into the common, because that'll be the common one of the circuit. And then we want these 2 as well. We'll have the black, it doesn't necessarily matter, but if you use the black in L1 with the common from the light, there we go, the black in L1 with the common from the light, and then the switch live from the light into L2 of the 2-way switch. In there, like so, and that's that. Give it a bit of a tug, that'll be fine. And then with the second light, to make that 2-way, we want the black again in L1 with the common from the light, maybe not loosened off enough, get it in there, and then from the switch live from the light we'll go into L2. Into there, and then once again, the common from the 3 core, which also goes across to the other switch and go in the top of light 2. And now you've just got to get this nice and neat in here, because obviously it can only go one way because the way you've wired the lights might be a bit tight. If you can get it to form nice and neat, maybe use up a bit of space at the top and the middle. There we go, that'll go on there nice. If it's too tight, then yeah, you've got to do something about it. But it feels like it's going to go on there nice. You sort of get a feel. So then you want to put the switches on. See, we could do all this from the switches. Rather than going to the light. Some people think sometimes, oh, you've got to do this to the light, do that to the light. It's not. It's all the switches. You've got to get to the switch. So unfortunately, if it's a decorated house and you want a 2-way switch your light, you haven't got this option. You have got other options, mind you, which are then wireless switches, which are fantastic. The kinetic ones. Get this on. And that one. Just fix all these back. And put this little packet up. I'm not putting them on. Right. And then put this last, this is your intermediate switch. Right, I think we've been too confident. We've switched it on. That one just stays on, but that one is fine for your 2-way switch. It goes on and off. So that 2-way isn't spot on. So your 2-way I'm confident with, and obviously that one with the 1-way is good. But this one, something's not right. It's something to do with that intermediate switch. So basically how we wired it was both blacks, L1 and L1. Looks like that was wrong. In my head it should have been like that. But with these click switches, L1 with 1 cable. So in effect L1 is sort of 1 leg of the cable. And then L2 is your outgoing. So switch it upside down. And then L2. In there. And let's test it before we fix it back. So now the light is on. It's off. So then we've got that one switch can be 2-way to there. But hang about, it's got a 3rd switch there. So then we can switch it off whichever position, or on whichever position we are in. So let's knock it off. Right, and then this one is the light 2. We are, oh sorry, 2-way with that. It's the second one. So this is 2-way. So say you're at the top of the stairs, you switch the light on. You're at the bottom of the stairs, you switch the light off. So that's the most common scenario with 2-way switching. And then if you've got a bigger hallway, you have 3-way. But then if you've only got one light, you've got a 1-way switch. So there we go. It would be nice if we switched that round the other way, because then all the switches could be off. Oh, they are. Yeah. So it depends which way you switch them. All the switches are in the same position. Oh no, that's on still. So I want that off. Yeah. So what I did then is just switch 2 of the legs round in the bottom of this intermediate switch, and then once all the switches are all in the off position, they're all off. So they can be now, that one's on, that one's off, that one's on. So they're sort of, it's a little thing, but it might matter if you're in someone's property. So then they can all be off in the same position. And the same with the 2-way. You can do it like that. It's nice to keep them, I don't know, just looking that little bit neater. So that is how you wire 3 lights, 1-way, 2-way with an intermediate. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below of something else you'd like to see me do. So until next time, I'll see you again.